94.5 Christchurch's Breeze. Good morning, it's James and Hilary here and Paul Simon there. It's 8 now, 8, and we're in a very special time. We've got a special guest in the studio and we're talking about a very special place in Christchurch.
James, it's just nice to catch up sometimes. I was probably there the most recently, handing out sandwiches. I was at the Cholmondeley Children's Centre when they were thanking their board. I was one of the waitresses. And what I loved, before we even introduced Shane, what I adored was on the way out, the crew of us that were there, they've got the original Cholmondeley Children's Centre visitor book.
Oh, okay.
And the episode original from where it started, and the only person who can probably tell us when it did start is the man in charge of the centre, Shane Murdoch, who's here with us this morning for a catch-up. Hi,
G'day, Shane. Welcome to The Breeze.
Thank you
very much.
It was probably called The Home when that visitor book came out.
Home, it was.
Originally Cholmondeley Children's Memorial Home.
Memorial Home, right. So when was that?
April 1925.
Wow,
Okay.
so the original book, okay.
So for people who don't know, what is Cholmondeley Children's Centre about?
It was a facility that was set up to, provide, what they called back then a safe haven for children.
Yeah.
Initially it started off for children who are recuperating from illness. But over the last 90 years, it's evolved. And so now it's a facility that's available we talk about for children aged between 3 and 12 years old, for families who are in either distress or crisis, and the usual supports are not enough or not available. So it's just someone to turn to when you need help, someone to look after the kids.
And Shane, I showed James that your charter that the kids have written, that it's a safe place, it's a place where you don't want to be bullied. It's actually like any place you'd ever want to work in or live in.
Yeah, it's a great place.
It's got a great
I think it's a great place to work in, and particularly since we've gone into the new centre. Yeah,
but huge facilities. Like, how do you fund it?
Well, the funding is, primarily through the community itself. About 70% of our funding comes from the community. So, of course, that means fundraising and that means sort of awareness. And Cholmondeley's always been really fortunate to have some fantastic support right throughout those 90 years. I mean, we receive a small amount of government funding. There are good things and bad things about that. But
you've given 10 years.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
You've been with Cholmondeley for 10 years?
No, I've been with Cholmondeley since about 2009.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
hey, look, Shane, Cholmondeley, most people sort of are aware of it and are vaguely aware of it, to be honest, because a lot of people haven't had to use the services. But we know that you're basically over in Governor's Bay, is that right?
We are, yeah.
That's where you're based.
We are only in Governor's Bay at this point. I mean, after the earthquakes, when the original home was terminally damaged, we moved to Living Springs, 10 minutes up the road, and we were there for almost 4 years. We completed the new building last year.
Okay.
You've been there a couple of times.
And met up with some of James's on your board, some of his old rugby friends. It's very entertaining.
The mature ones.
Yeah, but everyone's so passionate about it. Everyone is committed. It's such a Canterbury thing to be involved in.
And it's also, I think, because it's local. I mean, it's unique to New Zealand. Yeah. And in some respects, I think it's unique to the world. I mean, just the accessibility. I mean, about 70% of the children come to us through direct referral, so that's parents and family ringing us directly. It doesn't have to be a third party. About 30% are third parties, such as GPs, public health nurses, principals.
So how many children do you have in the Cholmondeley Children's Centre at any given point in time? What's the capacity?
We have a maximum of 20. Right. Yeah. But that fluctuates from week to week depending on because as well as looking after the children in a group, we also need to make sure we can look after the individual need as well. So we have to make sure that we are able to pay individual attention as well as work with the children in the group itself. So that can fluctuate between 15 and 20 on any given week. Overall, I mean, we expect to work with, say, between 400 and 450 children this year.
Gosh.
And they'll come up to about sort of 12 or 1,300 times in total.
Well, one of the reasons that you're here this morning from Shane Murdoch from Cholmondeley Children's Centre is that our company, MediaWorks, has a foundation and we're supporting your activities.
We just want to shine the light on you, but
but we do need more help.
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible. I mean, this whole through the community partnership program. Yeah. This campaign that MediaWorks has done in support of us has just been absolutely brilliant. And I mean, one of the parts of I guess the support we'd really like to grow is that sort of whole concept of regular giving. and which really puts the power and the choice into those who actually do want to support us.
Right.
And so that's just a matter of sort of making a regular contribution of whatever you can afford on a monthly basis, something which then is a huge goes a huge way of being able to support us just to meet our operational costs on a year-to-year basis.
Okay, so how can they help? Where do they go? Where do people go?
Visit our website. It's www.cholmondeley.org.nz/donate, and from there it will provide all the sort of direction and that you need in order to be able to do that.
Well, thank you, Shane. It's great to have you in here, and I know your own job as a parent involves getting the year 13 off to Papanui. Or maybe he's driving you down Papanui Road.
Don't mention Connor, because it's embarrassing for Connor as a millennial to have his name on stupid old Breeze Radio. Isn't it, Connor? Say yes. Sure. Yeah, see, there you go. Shane, all the best, mate.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Brilliant.
Nice to see
Shane
you
Murdoch, GM for Cholmondeley Children's Centre, and that website again is cholmondeley.org.nz. CHOLMONDELEY.